Let's head to agriculture and the appointment of a new head for the World Trade Organization is senior Nigerian economist Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who's been appointed as the head, and she has been congratulated by Trade Minister Dan Tehan. He tweeted that he congratulates Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on her appointment to the Director General of the WTO. I look forward to working closely with her. Well, I guess he does, because he's got a priority that he sees that needs to be looked at with the dispute with China over tariffs imposed on Australian barley on anti-dumping grounds. In one of his last acts as Trade Minister, Simon Birmingham said that with Agriculture Minister David Littleproud that Australia would take on China at the WTO over the anti-dumping tariffs that China has imposed. He said, "We do not agree with China's decision to impose these tariffs. They are countervailing duties on Australian barley. Australia's decision is to take a step that is consistent with previous use of WTO processes and that we have continued to raise these concerns with China on numerous occasions, both bilaterally and through the relevant WTO committees." Australia also has a case on the foot of the WTO against India over sugar and cane in an action filed cooperatively with Brazil. So it's interesting, a couple of ones to pick here. I guess you go back recent decades where Australia has had to defend itself at the WTO against Indonesia, and then New Zealand with their apples, and then the Philippines with pineapples and fresh fruit and vegetables. Miss Okonjo-Iweala is the first African and the first woman to serve as Director General of the WTO. She's facing the deepest crisis since its founding in 1995, and envoys from 164 WTO member states have approved Okonjo-Iweala on Monday by consensus. The free trade body has announced, and the United States paved the way for the appointment in early February when President Joe Biden threw his weight behind the candidate, and there had been some discourse about her being blocked in the role by President Donald Trump. I guess we've got to follow the politics here and see whether or not there is anything that comes out of the American position as to whether Australia gets the hearing that it might like in this appointment. I'm sure that Okonjo-Iweala, who previously served as Nigerian's Finance and Foreign Minister and was Managing Director of the World Bank, is aware of the politics of trade, and we'll see whether on taking on this new job in global trade and the pandemic that we've had across borders and the tensions that it's created, that free trade talks could be stalled for years to come, writes John McDonnell in our Flow News 24 article on it, and this is something that you can have a read of further. Ricky Lambert also has joined him with some edits there with some later information. So good stuff from our team here at flownews24.com.au. And let's hope that for our barley growers, you do see action taken, and let's hope that we find some new markets and get to a resolution pretty quickly.